Imagine a place that tells a story spanning centuries, where culture and nature intertwine to create something truly extraordinary. That's the beauty of UNESCO World Heritage Sites. I'm Abigail, and this is Global Treasures, the podcast that covers the history, travel tips, and legends surrounding one of the 1,248 World Heritage Sites each episode. These places have been identified as having universal cultural or natural significance that is so exceptional that it transcends national boundaries and is of importance to present and future generations. Welcome to Season 3, where we'll explore the 27 sites that UNESCO added in 1980 together. Thank you as always for listening to the podcast. I appreciate all of your support, and you can continue to support the podcast by subscribing at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, or your favorite platform. You can also follow us on TikTok and Facebook. You can check out my blog on globaltreasurestravel.com for even more travel tips and to hear about my latest adventures. Also, I'd really appreciate it if you would leave a 5-star review if you like what you hear, and tell your friends about the podcast. Word of mouth is incredibly powerful. Mother Nature worked her magic, sculpting a truly unique landscape in Garamba National Park, located in the northeastern portion of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Garamba is one of Africa's oldest national parks. It was established in 1938, bordering South Sudan to the north. It's an environment of extensive ecological value and, on the other hand, devastating humanitarian conflict. It was designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site primarily because it served as the last safe haven for the northern white rhino and also houses the endemic subspecies of the Congolese giraffe. The park's biodiversity is extraordinary, with 3 major biomes: forests, aquatic areas, and savannas. It also serves as a crucial habitat for around 286 species of birds. The park is home to 4 of the world's largest land mammals, some of which were referenced before: the northern white rhino, African elephants, hippos, and giraffes. The presence of natural springs creates a vital domino effect. The flourishing plant life attracts expansive numbers of herbivores. This is evident in the elephant populations, which sometimes gather in unusually large herds of up to 500 at a time. Just for reference, a typical herd is upwards of 100 elephants at most. One interesting fact about elephants as well: their brains can weigh about 10 to 12 pounds, more than a newborn baby. Despite its ecological significance, staff within Garamba have been engaged in a war against instability and poaching. The park was even placed on the list of World Heritage Sites in danger from 1984 to 1992, nearly 8 years. The threats to Garamba National Park were compounded by territorial conflicts. Between the years of 1991 and 1993, approximately 50,000 Sudanese refugees, displaced by the Sudan People's Liberation Army, settled right outside the park's confines, unintentionally putting increasing pressure on its already lacking resources and led to increased rates of the white rhino is the primary target, as poachers can sell their horns for over 50,000 US dollars for a single pound. Thankfully, there are 2 females in captivity, protected by armed guards, and there's work being done to see if they can be impregnated so the species doesn't go extinct entirely. The late 1990s brought more violence that ravaged the park further. The region was impacted by massive conflicts that inevitably crossed country borders. The Second Sudanese Civil War had disastrous repercussions, resulting in an estimated 2 million deaths and 4 million people displaced from their homes. Though the war ultimately led to the independence of South Sudan. Simultaneously, the First Congo War led to then-President Mobutu Sese Seko being overthrown. He went into exile and ended up passing away from prostate cancer just a few months later. Conflict continued in 1997 when rebel groups took refuge in the park, destroying equipment and outposts, intensifying the challenges the park staff had to grapple with. Rebel groups established permanent bases there, as a national park is an exceptional place to hide. While it truly is a multi-organizational effort, protecting this fragile ecosystem falls primarily to the armed forces of the DRC and the park's dedicated rangers, who rely on patrols from the air, from helicopters or drones, as well as on-the-ground surveillance. The International Rhino Foundation also deserves a call-out for contributing vital funding for patrol vehicles in the 1990s, though poaching unfortunately persisted. The defense of Garamba is a formidable, dangerous task. As of 2017, poachers had killed 21 park rangers, a dire number that makes it hard to call this park a run-of-the-mill tourist destination. Their self-sacrifice just highlights the fact that, sometimes, conservation can lead to a body count. Academy Award-winning director Catherine Bigelow acknowledged their bravery by creating the documentary The Protectors, which was dedicated to the rangers who passed away, the true, unsung heroes of Garamba National Park. The park's defense continues to depend on international support, with donations coming in from entities like the European Union and the United States Fish and Wildlife Service. Now, this is the part where I would normally segue to discussing how to visit this site, including logistics and other travel tips. But while researching, I found myself reflecting on a past episode on Virunga National Park, another UNESCO site and national park that's also located in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. If you want to go back and listen to that episode, it's Season 2, Episode 45, and you'll see what I mean. While Garamba National Park is technically open to visitors, it isn't advised to visit at this time. But I will go over some basics for visiting DRC and the park, assuming the process doesn't change once things reopen fully. I'll include links in the show notes as well. Typically, you'll want to fly into Goma International Airport and take a private transport, which would be about a 3-hour ride. Again, at the time of recording, Goma International Airport is closed, except for humanitarian-related travel. In terms of packing, you'll want to dress in layers or long sleeves to avoid ticks, which is easier said than done when it's hot. Bug spray is your friend here, along with sunscreen or clothing with UPF 50. In order to enter the country, proof you received the yellow fever vaccination is required. A visa must be obtained in advance as well for international travelers. The currency is the Congolese franc, and the official language is French. Park staff do speak some English, but a translation app is always handy to have. African Parks helps manage the site and oversees Garamba Lodge, and you will need to email them far in advance if you want to book a room. This will allow you the opportunity to stay within the park limits. I've been told by many that this lodge is one of the nicest hotels in the entire country. Given the view guests must have, watching the sunrise over that savanna, that sounds about right. Also, when planning, keep in mind that Garamba National Park is only open certain months of the year. It's not open year-round. In terms of weather, it's typically a good guide when deciding the right time of year to go. There's less rain the first half of the year, and as a result, you'll have a much better chance of seeing some animals, such as antelope and warthogs. Also, I mentioned before that there are over 250 species of birds. So if you like bird watching, you may want to bring some binoculars. There's a large variety of pelicans within the parks that are photo-worthy. I'm excited to end today's episode by talking about one of the richest parts of the Democratic Republic of the Congo's culture, the food. If I could suggest you try something with universal appeal, it would be fufu. Many dishes come with fufu, which is often a mixture of cassava and corn flour, pounded into a paste, while grits or porridge, maybe even mush, come to mind. It really functions more like bread. You can pull off pieces of the ball to mop up any sauces, kind of like how bread is often served with spaghetti and red sauce for the same purpose. It may not sound very appetizing, but it really is delicious. In the face of strife and loss, Garamba National Park stands as a beacon of ecological significance. Its dramatic beauty is deeply intertwined with the people who have resided within the region for centuries, their way of life shaped by their coexistence with the dynamic wildlife. I know, in my heart of hearts, that Garamba National Park will be enjoyed once again by future generations, emerging from the ashes like a phoenix, its prehistoric heart still beating, ready to once again be one of the uncontested jewels of the African wilderness. Thank you for listening to yet another episode of the Global Treasures podcast. Join me again in 2 weeks, where I'll cover another one-of-a-kind World Heritage sites. Until then, keep exploring, keep wondering, and keep treasuring the remarkable diversity of our world's heritage.